Okay, new deck, new format, new deck, new options. I'm super excited that I was able to pick up this new deck. So I recently been playing a lot of Endymion. I find it so fun to play, find it really consistent, really versatile. So I thought I'd pick it up in paper, give a deck profile, play it at locals a few times, maybe even take it to regionals in March. So the main reason why I picked up Endymion over everything else is a few reasons. First reason, most of all, this is probably the least expensive meta deck or meta like contending deck I could pick up in my current state. I don't have the money for Magician Souls, Appaloosa, IP Masquerena, Sign Up Mining's Impermanence, Phantasme, Evenly Matched. Just all the really expensive meta cards, even like Extravagance if I want to play like Guru Control. I don't have money for all those cards, but what I found with Endymion is you don't well those some of those cards are nice. You don't need them. This deck is so another reason why I want to play this deck. This deck is so versatile in what it does, and it's so good going first and second. It's not obviously it's not the best deck. I still believe like many other people like that the best deck this format right now is Spiral. I'm not going to be a triff and keep claiming that this is the best deck, but I think that this is a really really good contender for the meta, mainly because like I said versatility. If you win the die roll and go first, build your board. That's great. It's probably in its best position, but at the same time, if you lose the die roll, this deck has lots of different ways to help break boards when going second and hopefully OTK. So I don't want to stall any longer. I want to get into the profile. So Endymion lined up one big Endymion, one servant, three Magister, and two Reflection. Sorry about the glare. I just got a ceiling fan, and the place I tend to do exact profiles, I don't really have an actual setup for, so you gotta deal with glare on a good amount of cards. Going up, big Endymion. This is your big beat stick, big boss monster, unaffected by everything if it has a spell counter on it. Remove six spell. This in scale. Remove six spell counters. Summon it. Destroy stuff and put spell counters on it. If you have it going first, it's big unaffected boy, and you can you can return a card you control spell counters to hand to negate something. I believe it's a spell or trap card. So your opponent activates like say they activate Sign Up Mining. You're playing at Spiral like Where Art Thou? Or with Magician Souls on the field, you can use effect return a dead card you control with a spell counter on it to hand and negate. Servant, this card's limited to one for a very good reason. If it has three spell counters on it, you can remove. Well, it's in scale. If it has three spell counters on it, remove three spell counters. Summon this and a card with 1,000 or more attack from the deck that you can put spell counter on, and put spell counter on both it and servant. Obviously, it's limited to one because special summoning from deck is absolutely nuts. Magister, same thing, but you special summon from the X deck. So if you have any cards in the X deck that you can put a spell counter on, like say you do a certain series of interactions later on, which I will talk about when I get to those cards, you can potentially remove three spell counters, summon this and a Jackal King with spell counter on both. And Reflection, summon a card that you can place spell counter on from the hand and place a spell counter on it. It's really good. You'll mainly be, if you're not summoning big Endymions or Jackal Kings off of Servant or Master, you could be, if they're dead in your hand, you can summon them off of Reflection if you have the spell counters. So that is my lineup for the Endymion cards. Kind of sad to see Servant go 1, but to be fair, that card's kind of nuts, isn't it? The interaction I was talking about before with Jackal King is the entire Mythical Beast engine. 3 Master Cerberus, 3 Jackal King, Garuda, and the baby Jackal. Master Cerberus, this is your rota for any of your Jackal Kings or Garudas or just any of your Mythical Beast cards. This is the only thing. If there's no other cards in the other scale, tribute this and add a Mythical Beast card from deck to hand. I've got no other reason to play it lower than 3. This is the rota for any Mythical Beast card and has a great interaction that I'll talk about later with a certain continuous card. Jackal King, this is probably one of, other than Endymion, this is one of your main negators. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention about Master Cerberus. Both Master Cerberus and Jackal King have effects where if spell card is activated, place 2 spell counters on them instead of 1. Like when there's monsters instead of scales, 2 spell counters instead of 1 whenever a spell card is activated. Jackal King's effect is your opponent activates a monster effect, remove 2 spell counters from this card, negate the activation, and destroy it. Master Cerberus, this is one of your other great tools for helping break boards. It's remove once per turn you can remove 4 spell counters from your field, then target a monster your opponent controls. Banish it face up, and if you do this, card gains attack equal to the banished monster's original attack. So obviously you banish like a big ass monster they control, gain half the attack. This is great. This is a good removal source, and this is a card that helps you enable the OTK. Sad thing about this is that it targets, but who really cares when you gotta banish like that? Garuda, going second, stuff, break boards, destroy itself in the scale and another spell and trap. I've got honestly no other reason to be playing it. It just helps break boards so well. And Mythical Beast Jackal, mainly use it for its skill effect. If you have no card in your other Pendulum Zone, target a face-up card I control that I can place a spell counter on, destroys card, and place a spell counter on that card. So, see if I have like spoiler card thing. If I have a Mythical Institution or a Magical Citadel of Endymion, I destroy this, put a spell counter on it. Even better if I have both this and the Mythical Institution. Destroy this, put spell counter on it. Mythical Institution's effect. Mythical Beast is destroyed, put 2 spell counters on it. Remove 3 spell counters, add Servant to hand. So that is my Mythical Beast lineup. I was considering running Basilisk. I might reevaluate that choice and run Basilisk in the main and Grill in the side, but I've still got lots of time to tweak this before regionals in March. 3 Chronograph, 1 Time Gazer. You know, the Chronograph package. I've got nothing else to say about this. Put this in scale, tribute it, summon a Time Gazer from deck. Now, this card, I believe, is your only really true Garnet in the deck. Because this is the only card that, if you do draw it, it is dead in your hand, because you can't really do too much with it. I mean, you could, like, discard it for effect, or if playing a lure, you can banish this off a lure, but same time it kind of sucks as a brick, because if this card is in your hand, this is a brick, the chronographs become a brick as well. But if you just have the one chronograph, you've got nothing to worry about. Free monster on the board for link plays. Going to the last of the monsters, 1 Magical Abductor, 1 Kaiden Kendo Spirit, and 1 Blue Boy, the Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. Magical Abductor is kind of like a last resort rota if you have no other really good ways to get to your servant. Each time spell card is activated, while this is in scale, place a spell counter on it. When the spell resolves, remove 3 spell counters from your card. Add a Pendulum monster from deck to hand. So ideally you want to put 3 spell counters on this. Remove the 3 spell counters and add a servant to your hand. Kaid and Kendo Spirit, because this is a different, unique way to add spell counters onto your cards on the field. If its skill effect is if a monster is pendulum summoned, return the card from the pendulum zone to the hand. So obviously, put this in scale, pendulum summon something. This gets bounced back to your hand. Put it back in scale. There you go, 2 spell counters already. Really helps with servant setups. And Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, the blue boy himself in common, because I'm a poor boy. Yeah, this is mainly needed for your one link monster, which if you know what current Endymion builds are, or if you've seen Triff's video of his deck profile when he topped the regional, which I was not a flex, but I was there at that regional. Didn't do too well because turns out in a field full of Striker Orcus, Thunder Dragon is not very good. So that's my monster lineup I have so far. Not many any hand traps. Onto spells. 3 spell power mastery. I don't need to say anything else. Sorota adds spell counters. It adds additional spell counters. There's nothing else I need to say. 2 magical citadel and 1 terraforming. I would run 3 and 1 if magical citadel was not a field spell. If it was like a continuous spell card, I would run this out of 3 of no problem. The only real issue with this card is that like I said, it's a field spell. Obviously, it's nuts because you can put spell counters on this as well as your other Endymion monsters, but anytime any of your anytime any of your pendulum monsters would activate an effect by removing spell counters from the monster itself, it can remove spell counters from this card as well. So let's say this card has like 2 or 3 spell counters on it, and you only have a servant in scale with like say 0 or 1 spell counter. Remove the spell counter from servant, or if you can't, remove all spell counters from Citadel and go summon out your Jackal King or something. 3 Mythical Institution. This has the really cool effect of each time a face-up Mythical Beast Pendulum monster cards you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, place 2 spell counters on this card. Once per turn, you can remove any number of spell counters from your field. Add a monster to your hand from your deck or face-up extra deck with a level equal to the number of spell counters removed. If this card on the field would be destroyed by card effect, you can remove a spell counter from this card instead. So obviously you'd want the optimal thing to do with this is put this on the field. Master Cerberus in scale, Cerberus effect, pop itself, add Jackal King to hand, put 2 spell counters on institution. Jackal King, pop itself, special summon Master Cerberus from the extra deck. Extra 2 spell counters, remove 3 spell counters from this. Get a servant, you have 1 spell counter left over. Or another thing you could do is if you have this in the Jackal, play this, put Jackal in the skill, Jackal effect, put spell counter on this, put 2 spell against 2 other spell counters, remove 3 spell counters, add servant. You can also do the same thing with Magister if you really want to add Magister. Magister is probably just as good if you're doing the Master Cerberus line, because you will end up with Jackal King in the extra deck. So if you get 3 spell counters on your Magister somehow, you can then summon Jackal King from extra deck. Spellbook package, 2 secrets, 1 knowledge. This is for the Spellbook engine and for the Link monster. These 2 cards are, Rhoda, not bad. This is not a brick, but when you do get it off the Link monster, when you do draw it sometimes, it kind of sucks. But hey, it's free draw too. I have no problem with drawing that, but just drawing Blue Boy or drawing Secrets would have been much better. 3 Desires and 1 Upstart to round off the main deck. Of course, have these for consistency, basically playing a 39 card deck instead of a 40 card deck. I'm honestly really with Time Gaze in the deck. I'm honestly really thinking about cutting this for allures or playing two allure, two pod desires or something. But right now I'm still testing that out. Still testing which would be better. Honestly, I've got no issues with it. If I play this instead of allure, that's fine. If I play allure instead of this, that's also fine. Just need this for the consistency. On to the extra deck. One Vortex Dragon, Rip Agripane. That's honestly one of the main reasons why I ran the Guard Dragon engine in. One of the main reasons why I ran Guard Dragons in Endymion's when I was making earlier iterations of it, like a few months ago. Didn't actually play it, but I was making some iterations. Agripane summon Hot Red, or if you're feeling like you're in the Pendulum Spirit, special summon the Vortex Dragon instead. So I've got a lot of link monsters, so I'll do all the non-link monsters first. One Naruto and one Absolute. Played the one Naruto for Dead Jackal Kings or Dead Reflections. And soup them up into Naruto. There you go. Not only do you have the monster negate, you also have the spell and trap negate. And Absolute, this is the hard way to make Vortex Dragon. You turn two dead level 7s, preferably two dead big Endymions into this. Link this and another card off into something else. Effect, summon out Vortex Dragon. It's no same payoff, but I find it much harder, but still at the same time it's not I'd say it's not a very bad choice to run. Moving on to link monsters. This is a huge part of the deck. There's lots of link monsters in here. One Mr. Crowley. This is thank you Triff for coming up with this idea, or whoever came up with this idea, thank you. Because this is this is a much more tolerable Link 2 to run in the deck since Electromite got banned. If Electromite was still around, this deck would be absolutely bonkers. No way around it. This would probably be close. This would probably be close to like the best deck aside from Spiral. This is reveal Link Summon, reveal spellbook cards, three different spellbook cards from your deck. Your opponent randomly chooses one. Ideally, you'll be revealing Blue Boy, Secrets, and Knowledge, but if you draw any of them, it kind of really sucks when you need to make Crowley. Crowley dig into your deck even more. One Daybreaker gets in spell counter generation. Sadly it's a targeting destroy. It's not the best piece of removal out there, but at the same time it's not terrible. I mean it's playable. Most of the cards that came out of the Endymion structure deck are actually like they don't seem great. There's better cards than that, but they're not bad in their own right. One Cyframe Lord Lambda for the generic Link 2. Link 3, Draco Masters of Tenyi, generic Link 3 with some removal. Get Nightmare Unicorn. I'm pissed that I can't find my Nightmare Phoenix anywhere. I know I have it somewhere. I know I didn't leave it at the shop. I still need to find it. I'll put Nightmare Phoenix in deck when I can find it. But Unicorn, none need to explain it. It's discard a card, shuffle a card back. Way better than destroy. Trisbana for some removal, some turn one stuff. Honestly, it's not terrible Link 3, but I definitely run something else over it. Triple Burst, when I find my Nightmare Phoenix, or if I pick up another one, I'm getting Triple Burst out of the deck. It doesn't really have much of a purpose here right now, other than a placeholder. And one Zephyr Metaltron. I feel like this has always been it's always been a pretty good card for some Link toolboxes for Pendulum. Of course, the Zephyr card's not bad. And if monster's card Points to a special summon from the extra deck is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect. Add a monster from your graveyard or face up pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. Target a monster on each player's field does special summon from the extra deck except this card. Banish both until the end phase. Some pretty good removal as well. Go on to the Link 4s. Borreload, the Sword, Saryuja, and Topologic Bomber. So Borreload is, I don't need to explain it. So, some attack reduction doesn't come up much, unaffected by monsters, and neither player can target with not affected. Neither player can target with monster effects, but still, it's great removal, great comeback ability for this deck. Because the old classic thing of your opponent has a crazy hard monster to out, make Borreload, attack into it, Borreload, steal the monster, turn the monster against the other person. Finally have my hands on a Borrel Sword. And this isn't borrowed. I have no one to borrow my cards from. Sad boy hours. Finally picked up the Borrel Sword, looking beautiful as ever, and I don't know why it took me this long. This card is absolutely nuts. It turns situations where you don't have game, most times, into game. Saryuja for when you're popping off. You want the extra special summon? Go for it. You want the draw 4, put 3 back? Go for it. This card is absolutely nuts. I don't know why this is still around or why they didn't ban it when like Danger Dark World FDK or Danger Thunder was around. I don't know why this is still in the game, but sure. And Topologic Bomber, just like Trisbania, some onboard removal, not bad. But honestly, I'm trying to, since I have this deck now, I don't have many changes I want to make to it other than picking up 3 Dark Roll more. At some point, I'm going to replace either this Draco Masters Tenny or Topologic Trisbania with an Appaloosa if I can somehow borrow it off someone, or if eventually I do scrape up the money to go out and buy my own copy of Appaloosa. Because I feel like Appaloosa is amazing in this deck. Your turn 1 boards are typically good, with two Jackal Kings or Jackal King and Endymion with spell counter on it. But Appaloosa would make the turn 1 boards way much better. And no, you don't really need IP Masquerena with this deck. IP Masquerena it adds on one more interruption, which most of the time with Endymion or with back with Pendulum Magicians, didn't matter when you're already putting up quite a lot of interruption. Sometimes it does, but personally, I find that in my testing, it didn't really matter that much. Onto the side deck, this is still work in progress. 1 Archfetus Centric, back row removal. 2 Denko Sekka. For some reason, Trap Tricks has been popping up a lot in my local area, so side this against Trap Tricks, side this against like Salamangreat. What are they going to do? They're going to activate their back row against you? Nope, can't. Plus, this deck also really doesn't care about its normal summon, so you can waste normal summon on Denko. I know people usually don't run hand traps in the side or main deck for Pendulum Magician or Endymion or whatever the future better deck will be, hopefully, involving pendulums, but I feel like Droll in the side deck for the Spiral matchup and for other matchups is pretty good. No materials, also pretty decent hand trap. Nimnim's latest video had a point. I don't know why more people aren't running no material, but hey, here we go. Now deal with combo stuff. 3 Gamma Seal and 3 of the 5 Summon Master. 3 Nibiru. Now I know I said that this deck doesn't really care about its normal summon too much outside of Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. So I should pick up Lava Golem sometime soon. I don't know why I didn't pick it up at the shop today. Literally had a bunch of Lava Golems in stock, just stocked up on a new shipment of the Shadal structure deck. I don't know why I didn't pick up any Lava Golems, but these guys will do. Obviously, Gamma Seal tribute over opponent's problematic monsters. Just like tribute over Appaloosa or Trigate or something. And Nibiru for when, going second, got him with the, so how many summons is that? End of main phase, chain Nibiru, that whole fun thing. And still win against Prank Kids, by the way. And still win against Prank Kids. And finish off the deck profile. 3 Secret Villages Spellcasters. This card is nuts. It's crazy back row hate for Pendulum Magician, for Endymion. Any Pendulum deck that involves Magicians or any deck that involves Spellcasters. Have Spellcaster, your opponent can activate spell cards. You don't have Spellcaster, you can activate spell cards. It can backfire sometimes, but really most of the time this will be helping you. This is going to be a complete blowout against like whatever deck really runs spells nowadays. This was a blowout against Sky Striker. This will be a blowout sometime soon against different decks. So yeah, that was my deck profile. I feel really happy that I picked up Endymion. I've got no regrets with this deck. Not really any regrets with the deck building choices other than the still work in progress side deck or the missing Nightmare Phoenix or hopefully picking up an Appaloosa in the future. And I'm also missing 3 Dark Ruler no more for the side deck to deal with some combo, deal with Spiral. So hopefully later on my side deck could be looking like Archie-centric Denko Sekka. And instead of Gameciel and Nibiru, Lava Golem and Dark Ruler no more. But obviously I'll keep toying around with that. But overall, I'm really happy with my deck. Don't have too many regrets, and I'm super happy to be playing this format. Super happy to be taking this to regionals as well. So that's it with my profile. If you want to pick this deck up, you can. It's really fun, but do keep in mind the monsters, especially Big Boy and Endymion here, are absolute essays in and of themselves. So if you do want to play the deck and people are telling you it's hard, it's not because this has crazy, intricate, nuanced combos. It has some really in-depth combos, but at the same time, this deck's pretty hard to play because the monsters have so many effects that sometimes it's really hard to remember all of them. Even sometimes, after testing with it for a few weeks, I forget a good amount of the effects. I'm pretty sure the local, there's one guy at my locals who has played Pendulum since the Pendulum Evolution set came out, and even sometimes he misses some of the Pendulum effects. So that's what makes it hard, but honestly, this deck is really rewarding, really fun, and hopefully this could carry me to my invite at regionals or any OTS championships or anything like that. So yeah, that's enough of my deck profile. Like the video if you liked it, dislike the video if you disliked it, comment, like any nice things, criticisms, hate, I don't care what, as long as I get comments. And please subscribe to the channel. That I feel like that would really help me. And I've got nothing else to say, so take care.